Hello everyone. So today again I have come up with a new video, and the chapter for the questions for the MCQ is digestion or nutrition and absorption. So the first question from here is the type of dentation found in human being is option number 1 polyphyodont or thecodont. Number 2 is diphyodont and thecodont. Number 3 is diphyodont and acrodont. Number 4 is diphyodont and homodont. Now we know that diphyodont means that we will be having two sets of teeth throughout our lifetime. One is the permanent teeth and the other one is the temporary teeth, which we also name it as milk teeth. And we are thecodont. That means that our teeth are embedded in the socket, the jaw. So the option 2 will be correct for this question. Next, I'm moving on to question number 2. Which is the hardest material of the human body? It's dentine, it's the teeth, enamel, or bone. Well, option number 2 is the correct answer, that is enamel. What name would you suggest for a thoroughly mixed food with gastric juices by the churning movement of muscular stomach wall? Now the first option is bolus, the second one is chyme, 3 is either bolus or chyme, and 4 is none of the above. So here what is said is that what is the name would you suggest for the thoroughly mixed food with gastric juices? With gastric juices by churning movement. So what is formed? It is the chyme. Next, question number 4. Opening of the esophagus into J-shaped bag like structure is regulated by. Now what is the J-shaped bag? It is the stomach. And opening of the esophagus to the stomach, there is a presence of sphincter, which regulates the movement of the food. So here option number 1 is pyloric sphincter. Option number 2 is sphincter of Oddi or Oddi. Number 3 is ileocacal sphincter, and number 4 is gastroesophageal sphincter. So as we are talking about esophagus to the J-shaped bag, so here esophagus come into consideration, and gastro, we can say that all the gastric juices are present inside the stomach. So this one is the correct option if you choose wisely. If you don't even know the answer, if you choose it wisely according to your concept, then you can go for option number 4, which is the correct answer. Next, I'm moving on to question number 5. Out of 4 layers of alimentary canal, which one forms a villi finger-like projection? Now, number 1 is the serosa, number 2 is the mucosa, number 3 is the submucosa, and number 4 is the muscularis. Now, we know that the inner layer of the alimentary canal is generally the mucosa, and here is the place which will form the villi or finger-like projection. So I'll go for option number 2. Next, choose the incorrect statement regarding human digestive system with reference to a normal person. Now if we talk about a normal person, number 1 option is human saliva is slightly acidic. Now this one is correct. We'll have to choose for the incorrect statement. So human saliva is slightly acidic. Number 2 is in human being, 4 pairs of salivary glands secretes saliva. So number 3 states that the quantity of saliva in adult man may be 1 to 1.5 liter per day. And number 4 is enzyme amylase, which is also known as ptyalin, present in saliva, is responsible for the breakdown of starch into simple sugar. So here 4 is correct and number 1 is also correct and number 2 is also correct. Number 3 is correct. The quantity of saliva in adult man may be 1 to 1.5 liter per day. So we'll opt for option number 2, which is they do not have 4 pairs of salivary gland which secretes the saliva. Next, we are moving on to if we talk about this, we are having 3 glands, which is parotid gland and sublingual gland and submaxibular gland. So this 4 pairs, that means what? 8 glands are present for the secretion of saliva is totally a wrong answer. Next, we are moving on to the question number 7. Name the cells that produce hydrochloric acid, which provides acidic medium in stomach for digestion. So here is the chief cells, goblet cell, parietal cell and endocrine cell. So it will be number 3, the parietal cells. Next, we are moving on to question number 8. Question number 8 suggests identify again the incorrect statement regarding the function of liver. Now, liver produces bile, we know, so production of bile, option number 1 is correct. It converts excess of glucose into glycogen. Well, this answer is also correct. Conversion of glucose into glycogen is accompanied with the help of insulin secreted by hepatic lobes. Well, we know that insulin is not secreted by hepatic lobes. It is secreted by pancreas. So we can say that this option is fully incorrect. Next, we are coming to question number 9. Which of the following are correct? Which one is correct? Frenulum is the fold by which tongue is attached to the floor of mouth or oral cavity. Now, we have a tongue and below the tongue will be seeing there is an attachment. The attachment is between the floor of the tongue and the floor of the mouth, inside the mouth. So that connection, that attachment is known as the frenulum. So this is a correct one, this option. Next is pharynx is the ear, is the common passage for food and air. So this is also correct. We know pharynx is the common chamber for the passage of food and air both. Next, option number 3 states that colon has 3 parts, an ascending, a transverse and a descending part, and the later opens into the rectum. So yes, colon has got 3 parts. It is also correct. So here we'll choose for option number 4. All are correct. Next, we are moving on to question number 10. Which components of gastric juices inactivate salivary amylase? So which one inactivates the salivary amylase? So here the options are mucus, option number 1, 2 is renin, option number 3 is HCl, and option number 4 is pepsin. So we all know that pepsin is for the conversion of protein, and renin is also for the breakdown of protein, and mucus helps the inner lining of the stomach. So here we can talk and we can see that only HCl is left behind. So as a choice we can take this, and this is only the correct answer, which inactivates salivary amylase. Next, we are moving on to question number 11. Enzyme sucrase hydrolases or hydrolyzes sucrose into, well, this one will be glucose or galactose, glucose and fructose, 2 molecule of glucose, 2 molecule of fructose. So the answer to this will be question number two, that is glucose and fructose. Next, we are moving on to question number 12, that is salivary amylase shows maximum digestion action at pH what? So 3.6, 6.8, 7.5 or 8.7. So the answer to this will be 6.8. Next, 13. Which of the following match is correct? Rennin protein, trypsin starch, inverted sucrose, or amylase lactose? So we can say that option number 3 is correct. Next, moving on to 14. Succus entericus is secreted by what? So succus entericus, also known as intestinal. So here, succus entericus is secreted by crypts of lubricant, because succus entericus is also known as intestinal juice. So next question is question number 15. Which of the following molecule can be digested by the pancreatic juices? So first option is fat, protein and nucleic acid. Option number 2 is carbohydrates and proteins. Then we are moving on to option number 3, carbohydrates and fat. And option number 4, all of the above. So here the correct answer to this will be all of the above. That is, the molecule can be this all fat, protein, nucleic acid, carbohydrate, proteins, and carbohydrates, fat. So everything is almost digested by the pancreatic juices. Next, we are moving on to question number 16. In which part of the small intestine starch is digested? So here it's duodenum, jejunum or ileum. So we know that in jejunum and ileum absorption occurs. So if they are talking about digestion, that means we can opt for duodenum, where all the secretion of other associative glands of alimentary canal, or actually they are the associative gland, the liver, pancreas, gallbladder, so they all drain into the duodenum. So here only the digestion can occur. So next we are moving on to question number 70. Match the entities of column 1 with column 2 and select the correct answer from the codes given below. Number A is hepatic lobule. Number B is Brunner's gland. Now we are seeing here the crypts of lubricant, sphincter of Oddi, cystic duct, gastric gland. Now see, if you are not able to one by one recognize everything, just go for which one you know the more. Like for example, I know that cystic duct is related to gallbladder. So here I am connecting this with this. Next, if I talk about the gastric gland, then it's it's consisting of a mucus and parietal also. So we'll opt for this. Next, if we talk about the crypts of lubricant is present in the base of villi, so we can opt for this. And Brunner's gland is also known as the submucosal gland. So only two are left behind. That is, if we talk about a hepatic lobule, so obviously it will get connected with, if you talk about hepatic lobule, it is getting connected with Gleason's capsule. So, and a sphincter of Oddi, this is also a sphincter, so which will be present between the it is having the connection with the hepatopancreatic duct. Okay, so it's present over there in the hepatopancreatic duct. So let's check for it. Hepatic lobule is 3, That is, here we are having this also 3, this also 3, and this also 3. Next, Brunner's gland is 1. So here these 3 are also 1. Krebs of Leverkusen is 2. So only this is having 2. So we'll opt for this option. Okay, let's check for the next one also. Spinster of Oddi is number 5. Yes, it's correct. And E is 4 and 6. So this one is the correct answer. We are moving on to the next question. Question number 18. Which is the correct chronological order for food processing in human being? So as we know that we are holozoic, so we just take in our food, which is known as ingestion, and then we digest our food, then we absorb it, and then assimilation is done, and egestion is done. So option number 1 is perfectly correct. Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. Next, we are moving on to question number 19. Secretin and cholecystokinin are secreted by Brunner's gland found in duodenum, Paneth cells present in duodenum, goblet cells present throughout the epithelium of the stomach, and oxyntic cells present on the side walls of the gastric gland. So here also option number 1 is correct. That is Brunner's gland found in duodenum. The last question for today is question number 20. Gastrointestinal hormones secretion and cholecystokinin secreted by duodenum is responsible for the stimulation and contraction of what? The pancreas and gallbladder, liver, gallbladder and pancreas. Option number 3, gallbladder and cell of gastric glands. O4, salivary gland and gallbladder. So here these two will be responsible for the stimulation and contraction of pancreas and gallbladder. That is, gastrointestinal hormone secretion and cholecystokinin secreted by duodenum is responsible for the contraction and stimulation of pancreas and gallbladder. Thank you for today.